So for today's podcast, we're going to look at Mark 16:8, the resurrection story that Mark has a notoriously odd ending for. I went to a performance by another person who does all of the Gospel of Mark this past week, and he finished with 8 and went out of the room and stayed out of the room, and it just remained silent. I think people would have applauded if they figured out that he was done. But it's such an odd ending, they just waited. There must be more. And finally he came in and said, that's how it ends, y'all. I remember one of the first times I taught the whole Gospel of Mark to a group of students, Jessica Kane, at that time Madlock, had this text, and she was going to be the final performer we had. And one of the things we talked most about was how to get off the stage. It's just so utterly awkward, and we tried all different sorts of ways, but really didn't come up with any. And now, as I look back on that almost a decade later, I think that's the key. There's no way to end this story that isn't awkward. And so the most important thing we can do is to force our congregation to sit for a significant moment with the awkwardness of Mark's ending. And so let's do it together. On the day after the Sabbath, Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James, and Salome went and brought aromatic spices so that they could anoint the body of Jesus. And very early in the morning, on the day after the Sabbath, as the sun was coming up, they were going towards the grave, and they were saying to one another, "Who will roll the stone away from the door of the grave for us?" And looking up, they saw that the stone had already been rolled away, and it was huge. And entering into the grave, they saw a young man seated on the right, wearing a white robe, and they completely panicked. And the young man said to them, "Don't panic. You're seeking Jesus, the Nazarene who was crucified? He was raised. He's not here. Look, the place where they laid him. But go and tell the others, even Rock. He's going ahead of you to Galilee. There where you will see him, just as he said." And the women fled from the tomb, astounded and stunned, and they said nothing to anyone at all. They were afraid because and that ends the Gospel of Mark and begins the Gospel in the lives of the hearers as they puzzle out how this odd ending will draw them into a new reality. This year in 2018, I have a more extended commentary on Working Preacher on this text, and I invite you to go there if you want to check out what I say about Mark 16. Thank you so much.